Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Chinist. Today is July 12th, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 23 with 22 different titles. I've also finally hit my 500 subscribers. So guys, thank you so much for that. Man, that is awesome. I never really thought I would be able to do that, to tell you the truth, by any means. So, kicking it off, I was able to pick up, we have Spider-Man 2. I was able to pick up one of the incentives. I think this was going for $10 online with Miles on the cover. So yeah, Spider-Man 2. I don't collect too many Spider-Man covers. This one intrigued me. This one, I guess, you know, similar to like Wally West of DC, in the DC realm, to where, you know, potentially there may be two Wally West on the same Earth. So I think we're going to get into the possibility of another Miles Morales that was actually already here before he came into our universe, but Earth 616 of the Marvel universe. So yeah, pretty cool. You know, I do enjoy Miles really just through the Champions. I have not read anything purely Spider-Man based with Miles, but just through Champions, man, I really enjoy that character. I enjoy the different powers that he has while still representing Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man. Next up, Dark Days, the casting. So yeah, that number one, The Forge, I believe, was pretty good, pretty intriguing, great artwork. So Jim Lee is a part of this, but he does not illustrate the entire way through. They kind of mix up, I think there's like 3 different artists involved. But yeah, man, that storyline so far was great. So, you know, great artwork to go along with it. You find out, I guess not too much of a surprise now, but one of the Jokers was held captive. He's been in the Batcave for a while now. So pretty intriguing. You know, I guess we're getting back to like the Button storyline, to where Batman saw 3 different Jokers, man, at the during the Darkseid storyline and at the end of Justice League. So yeah, pretty cool to get into that again. Okay, next up, another one from Atari. I really enjoyed that other Conquest or Sword Quest that was out. That one was kind of a little bit different. So it was in the real world, and they were talking about the Atari game that came out in the past. This one's a little bit different. This one is actually, you're living, you know, this alternate universe. You're living in this, the Centipede is actually real in this universe. So you kind of see how they fight the Centipede. So, you know, intriguing. I played Centipede for, man, thousands of hours when I was growing up, you know, at the various arcades, at, you know, movie theaters, gas stations, grocery stores, etc. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have the arcade games anymore anywhere. So next up, Grass Kings by Matt Kent. This has been pretty good storyline in my opinion, mostly drama. I think something either supernatural or something's going on with this land at the same time, because, you know, they typically start off all the titles or each issue with a with a backflash of something that happened, and, you know, as you see, typically it's like a murder that typically happens. So there's something something going on with this land in and of itself, you know, outside of this drama that you have going on of the neighboring missing woman. And we actually find out what happened to her. I don't want to give that away, but you know, the other thing to really support the storyline is the artwork. I'm not really a watercolor fan, but this watercoloring with the hardline, with hardline inking, man, I thought it looked great. So yeah, Grass Kings. Okay, so this cover kind of threw me off. So I guess I won't show the cover, but so someone does die here in this now ongoing Harbinger Renegade, and I'm so glad that they're back from the break. So I've really enjoyed the Valiant Harbinger world in its entirety, man, going all the way back to the Volume 1 from the 1994 when they first came out. Man, good stuff. So, you know, I love mutants, and this is just like another, you know, another universe of psiots, which are mutants in this universe. Great stuff, man. So here you see, you know, there'll be someone who dies here, and I think at first I thought it was a Renegade who was going to die, but they just say, you know, someone important in the Valiant universe. So reading through that first volume, you know, I do know that one of these characters died in the first volume that did, you know, originally come out. So yeah, Harbinger Renegade, love that stuff. Okay, next up, Kill or Be Killed. This is something that I didn't originally pick up when it first came out. You know, I had to read through the first trade paperback and then instantaneously fell in love with this, man. Good stuff. So, you know, Supernatural's involved here. The supernatural demon actually forces this guy to kill someone on a periodic basis. If not, he actually dies. So, great premise, great storyline. You know, you get deeper into this world. You see the demon here. You get deeper into the world to where you find out his father, I believe, was afflicted possibly by the same demon or another similar demon situation. You have his girlfriend involved. You have his previous girlfriend. You have another girl who's getting involved now who actually has either the same demon or another demon, and she has to do the same thing. So yeah, great storyline, Kill or Be Killed. Next up, Red Dog, and I think this... Oh, 5 of 6. I'm sorry, we got one more. So yeah, this is pretty cool. This is in the future. We have a colony that's mining on Mars, and on Mars they had a indigenous species. Actually, they had 2 different indigenous species who were actually at war for like centuries or for, you know, thousands of years. And we, you know, humans are out there. They kind of got caught in the middle. So man, great storyline, great premise. You know. They kind of promote the dogs as the main storyline, but you know, not really. The dogs are there, and it's really the human who's the main storyline here. So yeah, great storyline, great sci-fi. You know, different storyline that's out there, and man, nothing more to say about this. But whenever the trade comes out, y'all should really check this out. Red Dog. Okay, next up, Regression. So you know, just reading through the solicit in previews, you know, I fell in love with the concept of this right away. So a little bit stale on that last number 2 that came out. I feel the artwork really ties well with the storyline here. The storyline is just not really moving just quick enough for me, or it's just not enough to hold my interest at this point in time. So I'm going to read through number 3, see if it piques my interest enough to continue on with the series or not. But yeah, okay so far, but just okay. Regression. Smoketown. This is one that was completely off my radar. I picked up number 1 through one of my monthly subscriptions that I completely passed on this the first go around. But man, very intriguing storyline. So this is, you know, there's murder or murders involved, and you know, that's separate parties, and everything just kind of starts folding into each other. You know, things start connecting, similar to like a Pulp Fiction, you know, type of storyline. So yeah, great stuff. You know, I don't want to give away too much of the storyline, but man, very intriguing characters that are involved here in these multiple storylines that kind of all tie together. So yeah, if you're looking for something just a little bit different, you know, from the streamlined norm, check this out, Smoketown. I think number 1 and 2 are still on the shelf. It didn't sell too well, but great storyline in my opinion. Okay, Darth Vader. So this is number 3. So this is going back to, you know, right where he becomes Darth Vader, which is at the very end of episode number 3, like the very last 5 minutes there. So this one is, seems to be pretty good here. So you have this, I forgot if they introduced him in the last Darth Vader, or if we saw this character here in another, was it maybe the main Star Wars storyline, possibly? I don't know. You saw like a little preview of this guy before in the past. So this guy is a Jedi, and apparently, you know, all he did in the past was fight. Like, that's what he did. Like, he's, you know, apparently like the best swords or lightsaber duelist, I guess, ever. And, you know, I'm not sure why it was never mentioned before. I'm sure they're just kind of like, you know, retconning this guy, just kind of implementing him here. But pretty cool. He's obviously going to be facing off with Darth Vader. We obviously know that Darth Vader is going to win, you know, just because we know he exists later on. But, man, pretty cool. You know, hopefully he'll, you know, maybe get an arm cut off or something really drastic. So, yeah, looking forward to learning about this Jedi who's the best sword fighter in the universe. So, yeah, cool. Darth Vader. Next up, Noble. So this came from that Catalyst Prime, and you know, this is pretty decent so far. This really reminds me of the Valiant Harbinger world when it started, you know, first getting kicked off. So pretty cool. You know, this is the same concept. They're like mutants or psiots. You know, they get unlocked. The government unlocks their powers. You know, more similar to the Harbinger side. And this is one of the many characters, but one of the main characters who's coming out there. And I think what they're doing is they're introducing some of these guys individually, and they'll be teaming up here later on. So yeah, this guy is pretty cool. He has a lot of powers, very similar to Peter Stanchek from Harbinger. I think he has mental powers and telekinesis as well. So yeah, Noble, number 3. Okay, next up, Edge of Venomverse. I thought that number 1 was great. The one with Laura, or X-23, all new Wolverine, and how she kind of comes into contact and takes, joins up with the symbiote Venom. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So I'm hoping this one is going to be equally as good. This has Gwenpool in it, how she gets Venom, and we'll see how. I think they're introducing character by character, and then they all kind of come together later on in another series. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm looking forward to, since I enjoyed that first one so much, I'm really looking forward to some of these other ones that are coming out now. So yeah, Edge of Venomverse. Okay, next up, Hysteria. So just because of all the talk from number 1, I was like, man, I got to see what's going on here. So I did pick up at number 2. I heard they had like a real controversial, either like a guy hanging himself or something on the cover, which they either took off, or maybe it became like another incentive or something of that nature. But yeah, so this is, there's a lot of hype about how offensive this title is. And again, I don't know too much. I heard some things about the first one, but I never got my hands on it, so I was never able to read through it. So really looking forward to see what all the hype is about, to see what is so offensive with this title. And yeah, we'll see if they can keep it ongoing or not. But yeah, number 2, Hysteria. Okay, Dread Gods. So this is one to where I wanted to flip through before I picked it up. So I kind of flipped through this one on the rack. The artwork was pretty decent. I put this at maybe a 3.25 out of 5 in my opinion. Pretty good detail there. So this one here, apparently you have the gods, and I guess they live in reality, but they're finding out that I guess they're monsters. So a little bit, intriguing there. I was looking for something a little bit different, so this one kind of filled that bill there. So yeah, I think this brand new universe that's kind of kicking off here within the Image, or is it IDW? I'm sorry, let me double check. IDW, sorry. Within this IDW world. So yeah, we'll find out if this one is intriguing enough to continue on with the series or not. So yeah, Dread Gods. Next up, Brutal Nature, Concrete Fury. Man, this is a pretty good title. The very first one, which is just called Brutal Nature, I thought was very good. The artwork had that that heavy metal fantasy feel to it. Great stuff, similar to that Space Ghost that came out not too long ago. So this one here, it's all about the mask. These masks give you these powers, and the first title was back in the Conquistador days, back in the 1800s. Then the second title, they really fast forwarded to where I think this is maybe like 100 years in the future or something of that nature. So you have it to where they're trying to they're using technology to try to get the powers of the mask at this point in time. So the mask is pretty cool. I think it ties together like the previous users, kind of like the Avatar: The Last Airbender. How when you utilize it, you get to use the knowledge and experience of the previous owners of that who held that position. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Here you have the science people who are fighting the guy who had the mask originally. So great stuff in my opinion. If you're looking for something a little bit different, this still has superpowers and some supernatural involved. So yeah, Brutal Nature. Okay, yet another gamble here. So this one's called After Eden, and this is yet another different storyline. This is like either another take or a retelling of Adam and Eve. So I think Adam and Eve, they already know each other. Eden, was real, it happened, and this is, I think, right after. So something happens here, and basically the decision that happens here at this point in time will dictate, the rest of the human beings, beyond them at this point, or, within the storytelling here. So yeah, a little bit different. I'm always looking for different storylines, so this one seemed a little intriguing to me. I've liked quite a few of the Red 5 publisher titles that they put out there so far. So yeah, this is just one of 4. After Eden. Okay, next up, Justice League of America. I don't know too much about this new storyline. So this Curse of the King Butcher. So don't know too much about this one. I think this is like a new person kind of coming to the table now at this point in time, a new character being introduced. So I was kind of like on the fence a little bit with Justice League of America. It started off well, it got a little stale for me in my opinion, and but it kicked up there again in my opinion. So I think this one was really more based around the Ray. So I don't know if this character came from his solo comic or what happened there, or his past. But yeah, interested in anything Justice League, but it's got to be a good storyline. So we'll see what this one's about. Okay, next up, New Superman. You know, if you are a Superman fan, I highly suggest for you to go pick this up, especially if you're looking for a little break from you know, the current Clark Kent. But yeah, so this one's pretty cool. So I think this is like, I think they call him Ultimate Superman or something of that nature, but I think he was like the first Chinese attempt at the Superman that did not go over very well. So it's him fighting the rest of the Justice League at this point in time of China. So Kanan is teaming up with basically everyone who is out there, and they're trying to defeat this guy. So man, great battle. You know, Kanan, of course, he's not fully Superman. You know, he has elements of the power. He's really learning how to unlock all the power at this point in time. But yeah, you have actually everyone joining up from the Chinese side of things. Chinese superhero side of things against this current evil Superman. So yeah, cool stuff. New Superman number 13. Okay, The Flash. Man, I love this title. Like, you know, basically 1 through 26 have been pretty damn good in my opinion. So this one, you know, you find out, I think this is in the near future, but you found out in the very beginning of the story arc that Reverse Flash, you know, he came back to life. You know, the Button, he was killed by, you know, we assume Dr. Manhattan, but I guess he's, you know, since he actually shifts through time, he could never be killed. So yeah, he's back, and you kind of see how he's affecting Flash here in the future. So yeah, cool stuff. And again, Flash has become, you know, one of my most favorite superheroes now at this point in time. He was never before, but man, great stuff. The Flash. Okay, Train 8, The Zombie Express. So I read through this premise, I thought it was good. I love everything pretty much zombie related. This one sounded pretty good to me. After I added this to my subscription, I then found out this is kind of like a retelling of the Train to Busan, which was a Korean-made film, zombie related. So man, that movie was really, really good. It had some elements of like, you know, fictional anime. You know, the zombies didn't always act the same, you know, depending who the character was at times, you know, things like that. But man, great stuff, good action, you know, good storyline, you know, some pretty good heroes and characters that were in there. So yeah, pretty interested in, you know, since I love that movie so much, really interested in this adaptation. So it looks like it's a little bit different, but so yeah, good stuff. So that was Train 8, The Zombie Express, and I think this is of 3. Okay, next up, Weapon X. This has been a great title, man. Good dialogue, you know, great action. The artwork could be a tad better, you know, in my opinion, but still great stuff. You know, detailed artwork for the superhero genre that I really love. So yeah, we're getting close to, you know, they've gotten Amadeus Cho's DNA at this point in time. You know that they're going to be, you know, trying to make like a Hulk Wolverine like hybrid, which is going to be like the perfect weapon. They're going to be trying to, you know, lace his skeleton with adamantium as well. So yeah, this is really the joint effort of a few of these mutants, you know, teaming up with Amadeus Cho to try to bring down the Weapon X program, which is trying to kill all the mutants of the world at this point in time. Great stuff. So I'm getting all the crossovers that are occurring in this as well. Okay, last up we have X-Men Blue. So this is the tie-in to the Secret Empire. So I think I've said before in the past, I actually prefer X-Men Blue over X-Men Gold. The last few X-Men Gold have been, you know, it's been getting just a little bit better, but man, I think Blue is better by far. So yeah, so I've, you know, adapted to their, you know, a little bit different powers that they have now at this point in time. I've adapted to Jean Grey. She is a good leader in my opinion. You know, I didn't think it was going to work, but it does. So yeah, this title is pretty good so far. I don't know too much about what this tie-in is going to be about, but I'm reading Secret Empire. You know, I'm a mediocre fan, you know, at this point in time, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.